This is great. Okay, this is great. Hi, everyone. How are y'all? I am so excited today because I'm live from Honduras. I'm currently visiting my parents on a month-long vacation, and this light is bright. Let's see if we can lower this light a little bit. Here we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Nori Pouncil, and I help millennial women feeling stuck get out of their heads, overcome their paralysis, and get to know themselves. Hi, Alex. Welcome. In today's live Q&A, I'm going to be addressing your questions about how to stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. So if you have any questions on this topic, please put them below. Okay. Here. Okay. So before folks kind of come in, I wanted to talk a little bit about the topic of how to stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. I did a post earlier this week on that, and I like to give an opportunity for you all to ask questions about the topic because I understand and acknowledge that a lot of times we don't know how to make these things work for us, and particularly when it comes to making time for ourselves and when it comes to doing what's best for us, it can feel a little bit we can feel a little bit guilty about it because we think that there are all these things that need to happen and all these places where our attention is to go. And because of that, we struggle to do what's best for us because we feel like out of all the things on the to-do list, we are the one thing that can come off the list. And as a result, we are the one thing that comes off the list and we never make it back onto our list. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the topic and then answer any questions that you have about how to stop feeling guilty about doing the best for you, about doing what's best for you, and how to make that a part of your life and how to not have those feelings when you are doing what's best for you. So if you have questions, please drop them in the comments below and I will address them. Before we get any questions, I want to talk a little bit about the topic. So why is it that we feel guilty about doing what's best for us? So there's a number of reasons why that is. The first thing is because we have been taught to put other people before us. We've always, since birth, especially for women particularly, we've been taught that, other people come before us. Our friends, our family comes before us. We glorify the idea of putting people before us, of doing things for people at our own expense. And because we feel like that about this, often we think that that's the way things are supposed to happen. And because we think people are supposed to come before us, we don't give ourselves the time for ourselves. We don't show up for ourselves because we are too busy showing up for other people. And we feel guilty about giving ourselves time because we think that other people are more important than we are. But in reality, you cannot show up for other people if you don't show up for yourself. You cannot help other people. You cannot love other people. You cannot care for other people unless you are caring for yourself. One of the things that I believe is that you cannot give out of your cup. It's not even pouring like part of the cup. You can only give your overflow to other people. So your cup cannot just be full. Your cup needs to be overflowing so that that overflow is what you give to other people. And a lot of us are running on empty cups. A lot of us have given everything that's in our cups to other people so that they can have overflow in their cups, but our cups are running on low or empty. So it's very important that we shift that perspective, right? Because when we do that, we learn to be resentful of other people. We learn to feel like people don't appreciate us. We learn to feel angry at them. And it's the result of the decisions that we are making. And a lot of times when we feel guilty for doing what's best for us, is because we believe that what's best for us is not the most important thing. We think that what's best for us needs to depend on what other people are doing and how other people feel about us. When in reality, doing what's best for you is only had to do with you. It's about you putting yourself in a position where you're living your life on your own terms. You're doing the things that feed your spirit, that feed your soul, so that you can have that overflow. And then once you have that overflow in your cup, you can give that to other people. And the thing that we ignore is that when we when we show up for ourselves and when we do the things that are best for us, that puts us in a better position to give things to other people, to pour into other people. Because when we're running on low, we cannot give our best to other people because we don't have it to give. When we're not feeling, energized, or when we're not feeling excited, when we're feeling exhausted, when we're feeling like people don't appreciate us. All of that is the same energy we give to other people, because our interactions are an exchange of energy. So if our energy is not in a place where we are at peace, a place that we feel joyful with, then that's the same energy we're going to give to other people. And that's the same thing that people are going to get from us. So we think that by bumping ourselves off the list, we are doing other people a favor because we put them ahead of ourselves. But in reality, by bumping ourselves off the list, we are actually hi Sada, we are actually doing people a disservice, because when we put other people above our own needs, we don't give them the best that we can give them, because we're not giving the best to us. And we send ourselves a very clear message that other people are more important than us. And when you send yourself the message that other people are more important than you, you learn to have a dependency on validation. You learn to define yourself by how other people feel about you, not how you feel about yourself. Not by doing what's best for you, but how other people define you. So if other people think that you're a bad person, or that you're this or you're that, you learn to believe that, and then you move accordingly to those things. And you give your control to other people, and then they can use that control to determine how you feel about yourself. And that's why so many of us struggle with the need for validation. With the need for validation. That's why so many of us struggle, because with wanting people to approve of our actions. That's why so many of us struggle with wanting people to give us their stamp of approval, or making us feel good, because we ourselves have not decided that we are a number one priority. And we don't do the things that we need to do to make ourselves feel good. And when you don't make yourself feel good, you need to get that feeling from somewhere. And that feeling comes from other people. And then the more you allow other people to dictate how you feel about yourself, the less likely you are to give yourself that. And the more you need other people to meet that for you. And that's why it's so important that you take time for yourself, and you do what's best for you, and not feel guilty about it. A lot of times we feel like, well, I need to do this for my family, or I need to do this for my spouse, or I need to do this for the kids. But the kids are always going to be there. The family's always going to be there. The husband is always going to be there. One of the things that I've done this year is do more things on my own, is do more things that do not include my husband. This trip that I'm in right now in Honduras, I'm here for a month, and my husband is not here with me. I'm here by myself with my family. And I'm so grateful that I took that time for myself, because I can do things without him, and I can do things for me. Like for me to come home and spend time with my family without stressing about my husband, or thinking, well, what's my husband now? What's other stuff? Because we're not in the same place. It's a really joyful feeling, because I'm doing this because I want to do it. And I don't need him to be here for me to enjoy my time with my family. A lot of times we need people to be in our space for us to fully enjoy our space. And that comes out of our obsession to put other people above us. He couldn't come here, so I was like, well, I'm going. I'm going to see you when I come back. And I don't feel bad about that, because I understand what's best for me. And what's best for me is to spend time with my loved ones, even if he can be here or not. And a lot of times we allow the feeling of, I need somebody else to be there, to keep us from doing the things that we want to do for ourselves. That's why you don't go on that solo trip you've been thinking about going, or why you haven't quit that job, or why you haven't launched your business, or why you're still in a relationship that doesn't serve you. You're doing all these things because you are not you're not taking accountability for yourself, and you're not doing what's best for you. And you tend to feel guilty about doing what's best for you, because you've been taught that other people need to come before you. And you've been taught that feels good. When you put other people before your own needs, it feels like it's a good feeling. When you can say, oh, I didn't do this because I was taking care of somebody else, you feel like a savior of some sort. You feel like some type of hero. And that makes you feel good about yourself. But that comes at a cost, because every time you get that feeling, every time you are allowing other people to dictate how you feel about you, you are giving them more power over you. And if you don't take the time to recharge, if you don't take the time to really focus on what's the most important thing for you and doing those things, you won't be in a position to continue pouring into those people. You won't be in a position to continue helping those people. We ignore that the reason why we are able to help other people is because we are there in the first place. And if you cannot make yourself a priority, if you cannot continue pouring into your spirit, pouring into your energy so that you can help other people, you won't be able to do that. And that's why it's so important that you don't feel guilty for making a decision to care for yourself, no matter what the cost is for other people, because they're going to be good. I remember growing up, my mom, she's always been the type of woman that she put family above her own needs. And as a result, I saw how that impacted her. And I saw how not only just her, but other women in my family had this kind of martyr syndrome where it was about me giving away myself to other people. And that's how I define my self-worth. And over the years, I've learned that that doesn't help me become the woman that I want to be. That doesn't help me become the woman that can freely give into other people and support them and be there to show up for them. Because when I do that, I am depleting myself. And if you deplete yourself, you're not going to be full to give that to other people. So it's very important that you take the time to care for yourself, that you take the time to pour into your own spirit, and that you don't feel guilty for doing that, because people will always be there. And the more you put people before your own, the more you put people before your own needs, the more you're not giving yourself that same attention. Because every time you say yes to someone, you're saying no to everything else. So whenever you say, yes, I'm going to do this with my husband, or yes, I'm going to do this with my family, or yes, I'm going to put this person above my own needs, you're saying no to all the other things you could be doing for yourself. So it's very important that you realize that it's not just saying, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to move myself to the bottom of my list. It's you saying, I am going to do just this, and I'm not going to put myself at the top of my list. I'm not going to pour into my spirit. And that's why a lot of us feel depleted. A lot of us feel tired. A lot of us feel drained. We feel like we don't know how to move. We feel like we're constantly feeling like, we're exhausted, because we are exhausted. You're so busy showing up for other people that you're not showing up for yourself. You're not pouring into your own cup. You're not feeling on your own spirit. And you cannot, hi Mo, you cannot overcome that if you are always pouring into other people. And especially if you have a husband, if you have children, if you have family members that depend on you, you can feel like taking even 5 minutes for yourself, it's bad. Like you feel like you don't deserve those 5 minutes, because there are so many other things in your list that deserve those 5 minutes of your time. But in reality, those 5 minutes of your time are the reason why you are able to give that to other people. So it's very important that when you are making time for yourself, and when you are caring for your family, you make that time for you, that you spend that time giving yourself a little more love, a little more compassion, a little more kindness. Because if not, you're not going to be in a position to do that in the future. And then you're going to get to a point where you won't be able to help your family. You won't be able to pour into them. You won't be able to be the caretaker that you are, because you won't have it. You're going to be so drained and exhausted, and your body cannot be cheated. At some point, your body will give you a sign, and some people end up getting sick. Some people end up, not being able to work. Some people end up being in the mental space that they have an emotional breakdown. Those are all signs of your body letting you know that you are burning it out. And you don't want to burn yourself out at the expense of other people, because who is going to do that for you? You have to be the one that cares for you. You have to be the one that pours into your spirit. You have to make sure that you are good. When you fly, the flight attendants, they always tell you, put on your mask first and then help the person next to you. If you were traveling with a child, then put on the child's mask. You cannot continue to put other people's masks first without putting yours on, because then what if something happens to you? You have to make sure that you are pouring into yourself, and that you're in a position to continue to support the people that you love. And a lot of us don't do that because we feel guilty about it. We feel guilty for caring for ourselves. And we ignore the fact that if you don't care for you, if you don't show up for you, then who's going to do that? Because most people are not doing that for you. That's why you feel like you gotta do it for everybody else. Most people that feel guilty for not doing what they need to do is because they are caretakers. They're caring for their families. They're caring for their loved ones. They feel like if they don't do it, no one is going to do it. But in reality, someone will do it. Someone will take care of themselves, because they're human. They have their own needs. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to do that. Hey, Kay. And it's very important that you give yourself that space to pour into yourself and do the things that you need to do. And doing the things that you need to do can look different depending on, what you need in your life. At some point, it might look like you needing time to just read your favorite book. At some point, it might look like you taking time to go to a spa. At some points, it might look like you taking time to just journal or meditate. Hey, Albie. At some point, it might look like just you taking some time to travel on your own. Doing what you need to do looks different depending on your need, and it manifests in different ways. And that's why you have to be available to what do you need for yourself. And too many of us are so busy pouring and giving into other people and providing into other people that we have no idea what we need for ourselves. We have no idea what is it that pours into our spirit. We have no idea what do we need to flourish and to become the people that we want to be. And as a result, we grow resentful. We grow feeling like, I wish I would have lived my life. I wish I would have, followed my dreams, but that can't be me because I have to do all these other things for other people. And that can't be me because all these people are depending on me, or that can't be me because I can never do that because I'm so busy doing all these things. But you are so busy living the life for other people that you forget to live your own life. And when you don't live your own life, you struggle to be joyful. How can you be joyful? How can you be happy with yourself if you're so busy living the life that other people want you to live? And that's why it's so important. Hola, Berta. That's why it's so important for you to pour into your own spirit and for you not to feel bad about that. Because when you pour into yourself, when you allow yourself to flourish, hey, Tamika, is when other people also flourish. Is when you give yourself that space to care for yourself, to listen to yourself, to do the things that make you happy, the things that feed your spirit. Is when you do those things that you empower other people to do the same thing, and they become happier because you will be happier. And it's not about sacrificing yourself. It's about you giving yourself that time that you need so that you can be the best version of yourself, so you can pour into other people. And too many of us don't do that. We don't pour into other people because we're so busy pouring into other people that we don't pour into ourselves. And that comes at a huge cost. And then we end up feeling like people don't appreciate us, like people don't love us, like they don't respect our time, like they take us for granted. And then you feeling like, why am I doing this? And at the same time, you feel like I can't stop doing this because who's going to do it for them? And you have to understand that people are going to be okay. We are all going to be okay. And some people feel sometimes like, well, what would happen if I wasn't here? Well, one day you won't be here. And what's going to happen then? And you have to realize that you don't want to get to the point where it's been too late, where you have been so busy pouring into other people that you don't give yourself that space for you. And then you get tired and depleted, and then you're feeling like no one cares about you. And you have to understand, you have to care about you. You have to care about you enough to pour into yourself, to show up for yourself. And not just when it's cute, but when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, and when it means the other people are going to be disappointed. Because you have to be so willing to pour into your spirit that you don't disappoint yourself to not disappoint other people. Too many of us live our lives not trying to disappoint other people, but we continuously disappoint ourselves. We continuously put ourselves last. We continuously deplete our own energy. And then we wonder, why are we miserable? Why are we upset? Why we hate our jobs? Why are we so unhappy in our relationships? Well, because you've been pouring yourself until like the death, trying to feed a relationship, and that you're not pouring into you. And that's why you can't really feel bad about doing what's best for you, because when you do what's best for you, you put yourself in a position to pour into other people and to empower those people to pour into themselves. And you want to be the best you can be. Why would you be anything less? Why would you continue to do less than being yourself, than to unleashing your potential? And if you want to do that, it has to start with you doing what's best for you. I'm currently answering questions on how to stop feeling guilty about doing what's best for you. So if you have any questions around that, please drop them in the comments below and I will tackle them. I want to talk a little bit about the topic and kind of just share some insight on that, because I find that working with my clients is something that comes up very frequently. Some of my clients, they're mothers, they're caretakers, and they constantly feel guilty for taking 30 minutes to an hour of their day to do the things that they love, to do the things that they enjoy, because they feel like the house needs to be clean, the laundry needs to be done, the food needs to be cooked, the laundry needs to be folded or something. And this is your space where you give yourself permission to do the things that you need for you. You can take an hour to read your book. It's okay. The laundry can wait. The dishes can wait. The children can wait, because they will have their own life. And then you also have to think about what kind of precedents are you setting in your family? Like, do you want your children to grow up feeling like they need to continue to sacrifice themselves for other people? Or do you want your children to feel like they can put themselves first so that they can pour into other people? One doesn't go before the other. And it's very important that we take the time to acknowledge that and to give ourselves that space so that we can pour into others even more. You don't You don't pour more into other people by not pouring into yourself, because that depletes you. And then at some point, you won't be able to continue pouring into them. But when you take the time to pour into yourself, when you take the time to do the things that are best for you without feeling guilty about it, then you can be in a position where you can really show up for them. And you can show up from a spirit of being joyful, from a spirit of being happy, from a spirit of being excited, and not feeling like you're exhausted. And too many of us are pouring into other people from an exhausted spirit, from an exhausted energy. And that's not where you want to be, because at some point your body's going to be like, that's enough. And you don't want to get to the point where you can't do that anymore, because it's so important for us to pour into other people. So that was the topic I have for today. I'm open to any questions that y'all may have. So please feel free to drop them in the comments below and I can answer them. Let's see here. Thank you so much to all of you that have been joining today's call. Like, this is today's live. I'm going to give another minute or so for questions. And if you don't have any additional questions, I will wrap it up. If you are interested if you're a millennial woman and you're feeling stuck and you would like some help on how to get out of your head, how to overcome your paralysis, and how to get to know yourself so that you can know exactly what does it mean to pour into your own spirit, so you can know exactly how do you do that for you. I help millennial women get unstuck. So you can holler at me in my DMs, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you on how to create a space where you're pouring into yourself without feeling guilty, or in a space where you're pouring into yourself because you love yourself, and when you understand that you can help more people by helping yourself first. So if you need more support on that, slide into my DMs, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it and help explore ways to help you become the woman that pours into herself, the woman that you've always wanted to be. So since I have no questions here, I will check y'all out in the next live. I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.